Hi, it's Dachi, and today I'll drone out with Medusa and create a self-playing patch inspired by 1960s Elektronische Musik. In the 1950s and early 60s, mass-produced electronic instruments like synthesizers were not yet widely available, so avant-garde artists like Karlheinz Stockhausen repurposed lab equipment, among other things. One technique of the time was to blend differently tuned test tone generators to create melodies and harmonies. Today I want to mimic this technique with Medusa. With its 6 oscillators, 5 LFOs and a hold button, it should make a great drone generator. This video is supported by Polyend, who provided Medusa to me so I can make these videos for you. Apart from that, I do not receive any payment from them, they do not have any influence on the content of this video, and everything I say is my own opinion. Of course, you can create this patch with other synthesizers as well. As long as you have multiple oscillators and LFOs, you're going to be fine. I'm going to start from the initial patch, and the first thing I'll do is turn all 6 oscillators to a sine wave. Switch to the digital oscillators. If I press hold and hit a pad, Medusa's gonna hold that note. As you can see on the oscilloscope, the sine wave on the analog oscillators has a little spike, and you can also hear it. So I'm gonna filter down the sound. And now the analog and digital sine waves sound the same. Oscillator 6 or digital oscillator 3 is gonna be my bass note. So I'm gonna tune it down 1 octave. And now I'm going to bring in oscillator 1, oscillator 2, so now I have 6 oscillators that I can play by hand if I want to. Pure sine waves sound pretty bland, but actual vintage test tone generators can get quite crunchy because of the tubes that were still used in 50s and 60s electronic gear. I'm running Medusa through analog heat to add some overtones and warmth, and I go with the enhancement circuit because it kind of resembles tube distortion. You can see as I raise the drive how the waveform is slowly folding. And now I'll add some reverb to give the sound more space and width. As we're aiming for a 1950s or 60s Elektronische Musik aesthetic, I'm going with Valhalla Plate, because plate reverbs such as the EMT 140, of course, could be found in many music studios, radio stations, or universities at the time. I chose the Adamantio mode because it has a bright and airy character that could help us a bit with the mid-frequency muddiness that a pile of sine waves can introduce. And finally, I'll also bring in a little noise from Medusa to give the whole thing even more texture and make it a bit more lo-fi. And the good thing with Medusa is I can change the character of the noise. In order to turn this into a true self-playing drone patch, I will now route the LFOs to the oscillators. I'll just activate LFO1 by double tapping. If I hold it and move the fader of oscillator 1 in the mixer, it automatically connects them. Now with Medusa, if you pull the fader on the mixer all the way down, it actually mutes the channel. Even if you turn up the amount of the LFO, the channel is deactivated, nothing will happen. So to hear the effect of the LFO, you actually have to raise the fader a little bit. And now you can hear how it brings in and out the sound. I'll go with a sine wave for now, because I want the sound to smoothly blend in and out. Here I can adjust the rate. Now same procedure for the second LFO. Turn up the amount. And the same for the 3 remaining LFOs. Now I have a self-playing patch. I can mute individual voices by just pulling the fader down, or I can accentuate them by turning the fader all the way up. And of course I can change the rate. Also the amount. To create all sorts of expressions. Now if I hit a different pad on Medusa, it actually is going to transpose the whole patch. I can try to make it a bit more sonically interesting by introducing some FM, frequency modulation. I can also try to activate oscillator sync. Now if I want this to be a bit more predictable and musical, so maybe we can combine it with other musical elements, I can also sync the LFOs. Just hit sync, then I can select the rate. By choosing different rates for each oscillator, it can get quite complex. That's pretty nice. I can imagine this in a track actually, combining it with drums or something. Now the nice part about syncing the LFOs is that I can change the tempo of the patch. And it will change the tempo of the LFOs as well. And this can change the character of the whole thing quite drastically. I can also change the waveform on the LFOs from a sine to a falling sawtooth, so the sound will get a more percussive character. It almost has a bell-like quality. And if I want to add even more grit and distortion, I can also place analog heat behind Valhalla Plate in the effect chain. This is my little self-playing drone-ish Medusa patch. It's very simple, but with a few tweaks and some effects, it can create a wide range of musical moods. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my patrons who support the channel. See you in the next video.